Welcome to another episode of Big Al's Big Tips.
Okay, so we're here on another video, and this one is going to be effective starting. Okay, this is going to be very important. This is going to get you out to a good start of your season. So, once your season starts, you select your encampment, blah, 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 and you're actually into the game. First things first, you don't do anything. You go into building, and you're going to have a couple of these open, your main hall, and you're going to have your first quarters. Upgrade all of these to level 2. Okay, the quarters, the storage, apothecary, barracks. Then when you go to upgrade your main hall to 3, back out, go into army, and make a complete junk army. Okay, you're going to want, of course mine are full, you're going to want one commander with just a few troops on it. You're going to come out here, you are going to take 3 level 1 tiles. Don't forget to enter in the commander's skills because they will all be reset and at 0. So enter the skills in, march them, take 3 level 1 tiles. This will open up a couple of the chapters. Now you go back in here and you build. You build this part here. You build your quarters up. You only build what is required to further the chapters, okay, for your progress. And I can't remember, I think it's Barrack 6 that opens up the third formation inside of an army. You do not want to take a tile bigger than a level 2 until you have those 3 commanders. So you're just going to be built, you're going to take those 3 level 1s, you're going to build. You can go back, you can put 2 commanders in an army and take a couple level 2 tiles just to further the progress. You're going to want to join the fellowship as soon as possible. What I do when I click build, okay, I hit upgrade. In early game, you're going to have your automatic finish button because your ring level automatically has 30 minutes. Okay, when I click upgrade, I give it about 3 seconds before I click finish. And the reason for that is when I'm in my team can hit help and it will decrease the time, but they gain fellowship coins. And the fellowship coins are very important, especially early game, because you will open up, as soon as you open up the store, you want to be close to max. That way you can buy your relocate if you want to change your quarter style. It takes a relocate coin or 500 gems. You're going to want these. You're going to want these. You're going to want the gathering boost. Okay, that is important. Now that we've done the level 1s and we've done some buildings, okay, once we get that third commander in our army, you're going to take your A team. Okay, it's going to have 3 formations in the army. You're going to take your A team and you are going to start doing mobs. Plain and simple, just mobs. Your main team should not touch a tile until it is at least level 20. And then the first tile it should touch is a level 8 tile. Okay? You're going to have, for smaller players, smaller accounts, you're going to have your B team and your C team taking tiles. And when I say that, I'm talking about level 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s. Okay? Always switch out your gear. Your best gear is on the army that you're using. Hopefully, you have your main army's gear and then you have like a backup gear, like with all purple that's upgraded, and then that you could use on your second teams or whatever. But what I'll do is after I get to the point where I start hitting mobs with my main team, I'll do like 3 or 4 mobs and then I will sit them and then I will go to my B team. And this is for bigger accounts. Then you put your B team and you do a few mobs with your B team. Okay? And then you'll have the rest of your teams doing tiles. Once I make a army for tiles, I will have them hit one or two level 6s, and then a level 10 mob, just so that they get a couple levels and they'll probably have another skill point before I start having them farm tiles. Now we're going to go back into buildings because buildings are the most important thing for the first day. You do not want, you're going to have to build some troops, but you want 80% of your resources going to your buildings. Do not waste resources on these tributes. I think for chapter progression, they need to be at level 4. You do not go any further than 4 for until the second day, pretty much. Because you want to rush your main hall, you're going to want to rush your barracks to um, level 11 so that you can get that fourth formation in the army. Okay, so there's a lot of them. I will sometimes upgrade the stone tribute, excuse me, because at the early beginning you have extra wood and iron, um, and doing the stone tribute doesn't cost any stone. But I only do a couple levels of there because stone is so important. Your quarters, okay? I'm on day 3, okay? My main quarters I have leveled up. My second quarters I have leveled to level 5 only because I need, well, I don't need, but I want these tier 2 bow knights. Now let's go look in here. My Uruk quarters is level 1. I didn't waste resources on upgrading that because I know I can't get it to level 8 right now. Okay, and another tip. Breakers, siege ranking A. Sappers, siege ranking A. Tier 1 and Tier 2 do the same amount of siege. Do not waste resources building the T2 sappers. You build breakers, and that's it. That's what you build for siege. And then after, I want to say, I don't know, 6 days or so, you'll probably be at a point where you can upgrade your Uruk quarters to level 8 so that you can get the alchemists. So you go from breakers to alchemists. You do not do the T2 sappers. You are costing yourself and wasting extra resources early game. Now back to the quarters. I have this one. I leveled it up one time just to get a little bit faster speed on there. And this one's at level 2. Do not just try to max out all these right away. Not until probably day 3. Then you can start building them up. Maybe even day 4. So get the units that you want to start. You're going to get one T3, get a good T2 that you want, and that's what you use. Do not waste the resources. Your storage is very important. You don't ever want to become capped on your storage because then you're not gaining any resources. Okay? Training grounds are important. Commanders' chambers are very important. So about day 4 when the passes open is when you need to make sure that this is leveled up because you want more armies because you're going to have multiple siege, you're going to have multiple tilers, you're going to have your fighter. Okay, the resource center. This is a very good one for day 2. Is making workshops. Okay, this will give you a boost to your economy. Okay, not everybody's lucky, but if you have a cluster of tiles touching your base, you build one, someone in the center, and then you yield boost the tiles. I built a second one here. As you can see, it's giving me 3,600. You can yield boost these tiles to level 8 when the resource center building is at level 3. This will be a great boost to your economy. Okay, so we are on day 4. Okay, the passes open up in like, I don't know, 13 hours or something like that. Resource tiles are gone. There is no 8 tile or above in your faction, in your spawn region. And that usually happens around the middle to end of day 2. Now here is another way to get more production and make your own level 8 tiles. Look here, I found a cluster of 9 tiles. Here, let me get him out the way so you can see it. I made a cluster of found a cluster of 9 tiles because a workshop can boost any tile that's a level 2 or over. I placed the workshop in the middle. See, I'm still getting enough for better than a level 9 tile, but I'm not worried about this production from this. But what I did was I created 7 level 8 tiles for myself because there were none. These were all between level 2 and level 5, I believe. This one might have started out as 7. But I made these tiles, okay? So again, it's not about the production of this, it's about the ability to make the level 8 tiles. But again, this is still a level 9 tile. When you're out of, or the workshop is equal to a little bit more than a level 9 tile. When all resource tiles are gone, even a level 9 tile helps. Okay, yes, it's not getting the production of these because this one's not connected to the base. But again, that is not the point of this one. This one is to create and make my own level 8 tiles. Here I can show you another one that I did. Maybe. Where was it? It was right over here. Oh, here. Okay, this one I asked this guy, but I forgot to follow up on it, getting this tile. But again, I found a cluster of 8 tiles. I built one in the middle, and then I yield boosted all of these to level 8. So even this one's giving me 1300 because the tile that it started on was a bigger tile. So there's a couple tricks, okay? Um, and here a couple more advice. Sauron is horrible at PvE, at tiles. He is really bad. So if you don't use, say, Frodo, if Frodo is not in your A or B team, and this is usually for the bigger players, use Frodo to farm. And then when Frodo gets up to, say, level 35 or something like that, then XP swap to your Sauron. Because Sauron is horrible. He has no skills that help kill the tiles. Only PvP. So let's see. We've talked about the buildings. We've talked about workshops. Another thing is you're gonna want to have um, somebody with cavalry units, with one cavalry unit, because you have fellowship gathering. Somebody on your team is going to take a level 10 tile 2 to 3 hours into the server. So you send that army unit over there and you start gathering, because with your ring points, if they're full, it doesn't help you, but if you start gathering, then they can start to accumulate again, because it's just a waste if it's not there. Don't waste your time gathering on levels 5 or 7, well, level 5 um, resource tiles. I mean, some people will do like one gathering point into a level 7 as soon as they get it, just so that this isn't sitting full wasted. Just like when your commander's stamina is at 300 because you're at the first 24 hours, it's just wasting. Put an army together, do a mob, do 2 mobs. That takes off 20 stamina. And then it's going to take an hour for that to regain. But they're not sitting there idle. You're gaining that much more XP. So always swap your gear. A team for smaller accounts, your A team doesn't touch a tile until it's at least level 20. For bigger accounts, your A and your B does not touch a tile until it's level 20. And then even at that point, I will usually take just a couple, like 3 or 4 level 8s, 9s with my A team, and then I will go back to doing mobs with them. And then B team will be leveled up at that point, and then I'll have them doing 8s and 9s. Conserve troops. Don't overextend. And what I mean by that, for example, is here. You see this? I did a level 30 mob with this army. Lost 60 supply. Okay, you're going to lose some supply at the bigger tiles. Now watch when I did the level 35, I lost 95 supply. You want to make sure the losses are worth it. Don't overextend yourself and lose too much troops early on in the first 2 or 3 days. So you don't move on to the next size mob until you have little losses on the one below it. Same thing with tiles. Now, also, this is very important for smaller accounts more so than bigger accounts. It's just a fact of life. Small accounts work harder. At level 5 tiles, you need to start scanning the tile. It is free to do. It takes 5 seconds. And see, as soon as that pops, I can start that one. You want to scan the tiles and you want easy commanders on here. You want limited damage and you also want to make sure your troops aren't countered. Okay, so I use a lot of I use small units early on and a lot of ranged units. So one, I don't want to fight an army that's all horses, and I don't want to fight armies that have Dunedain on them. As far as the commanders go, so that's going while I'm doing this. So Dwalin, we know he's a damage dealer. He has points in his damage skill. Oh, crap. Let me go back in here. Actually, let me see this one. Maybe this one's better. Okay, here's a better one. So we click. Okay, it's just defensive 2 enemies. That's not a damage skill. Okay, his weapon does give commander damage. Let's see what skill this guy has. This guy has another one, damage dealt, um, plus 24%. But this one, normal attacks deal an additional 120% physical damage. So this is a damage skill. So out of these three, it's kind of like 1.5 because of their other skill. But they got one damage skill. Okay, so there's not a lot of damage coming at me on this tile. So I'm going to take a little bit less losses. I'm trying to get a couple good examples for you guys. Same commanders. I want different commanders. And I probably should go to the bigger tiles. That way it's more sample size, more. Ah. Okay, here's another one. We have Ori here. Okay, he's not got points of endurance blood. So okay, that's one skill that's not. We know Dwalin's is a damage skill. We know his is a damage skill. So 2 out of 3 have damage skills. So that tile's gonna hurt a little bit. So those are the things to look out for. Okay, same thing with the mobs. They're all gonna be the same. Whether as if it's a level around your base, generally speaking, all 35s around my base are going to be goat riders. All level 30s around my base are going to be cavalry archers. There is some spots that it does change, but once I know what there are, I know what I can hit with it. And again, I'm doing mobs that aren't going to cost me a lot because you got to conserve troops. Make sure you hit this help button a lot to help your teammate. Boost as soon as you log on. Every time you log on to the game, you should be going into this section, Boost, and donating. And then when you sign off, same thing. Check again and donate. These are what gives your fellowship different skills and uses. And you also gain resources from some of them. You need to level up your fellowship fast. The ways to do that are defending armies and mobs. They will gain experience needed to upgrade the fellowship. This is big. So make sure early on you're doing lots of mobs. Another one early game is you create your siege army. Okay, so here I have my siege army Gothmog. Okay, actually, let me just go back home. Do level 6 mobs. This is one thing I highly recommend. Always, always, always have a siege army doing level 6 mobs. Okay, you are leveling up your siege for one. It is very minimal losses. You should only be losing like between 1 and 8 supply for the first few fights until they're leveled. You don't move up a rank. Okay, you just do the level 6 mobs. Eventually, you can do level 10s too. But it's less about the experience, but it's always being active. You're getting things. You get tips. Let me show you, for example. I think I have one left. Okay, this was from a level 30 army. I got resources and experience. Level 6 and level 10 mobs will give you resources at the first and second day, and they will throughout the season when they're available. All mobs, well, most mobs will. There are some that don't give tips. But for the first 2 days, your tips that you get from killing mobs, and when they drop tips is random. You will only get resources. But that is huge. Everybody runs out of resources. So having a buttload of tips with these resources help. Now, after the second day, and this is a smart thing to do, is stock up on some of these. They do have a 48-hour timer. Okay, so the ones you do the first day, you'll have to do. But if you stock up on the second day and you're doing okay on resources, after the second day ends, the tips will start giving experience too. The small ones give 5 or 10k experience. That still helps. You're still growing. Even if you want to start using the ones that give you 5k experience and resources, do those on your siege teams if you want. Get them up a level or two and then put them out on the field to do more level 6 mobs. Every commander is useful. If he's not part of your A, B, or C team, or has a specific use like transporting troops, they are a siege commander. Have siege armies doing those level 6 mobs. Those are the ways you are going to get a very quick, very effective start to your season. Again, remember this trick. Resource tiles will run out quickly. Make your own. It gives you a bunch of resources. If you have that cluster, do this on day 2, is make the workshop tile. The initial, I think it costs 10k stone to make, and then a little bit smaller on the other resources. But to upgrade these is very minimal. It's like a couple hundred resources each. So don't think they're a waste. They give a lot of extra resources from just that one tile, and I made more 8s. And I know I'm repeating things because some of these are just extremely important to do. So, I think that's going to be it for me for now. So, as always, make the most out of what you got.